Control is one of the weirdest and most interesting games I have ever played. Remedy Entertainment managed to create a game that is filled with inspirations and references to the Twilight Zone, X-Files, Twin Peaks, Fringe, and many more. This game feels different with each playthrough, just like the world it takes place in, and it's full of secrets and hidden locations that you likely won't even encounter on your third or fourth time playing it.
This is the dimension of imagination. It is an area which we call the Twilight Zone.
It's amazing because it loves to toy with the player and has plenty of mind tricks going on. Despite the gameplay being mostly action focused, Control is full of mystery and even some lighter horror moments. The atmosphere itself is creepy and horror inspired, especially when you realize what your enemy does and can do, as well as what the oldest house actually is. The Federal Bureau of Control is similar to the X-Files division or the Fringe division and takes care of all the supernatural or paranatural occurrences around America and often around the world, sometimes even across parallel dimensions. This means that all the artifacts they find are brought into their headquarters, the oldest house. Of course, that also means that there are side effects because whatever they bring back can often be possessed by some kind of entity or spirit that makes its power known through violent means or all kinds of mindfuckery. And you will encounter a lot of such moments as well as internal reports that give you more infos on the lore of the world. While Control is not scary, there are creepy moments that have a very Twilight Zone or X-Files vibe, and the whole game could be seen as a mix between these two. You will often have to deal with things neither you nor the in-game characters can explain, occurrences and events that are much more complex or bigger than anyone can comprehend. It's actually hard to explain this game to someone who has not experienced it. Sure, the gameplay is pretty straightforward as well as the main story, which is actually a lot simpler than it looks. But the greatest strength of Control is not the story. In fact, the story is nothing mind-blowing. More so, what makes the story interesting is the way it's being told and presented. The game loves to mix media formats, which is why you can encounter various VHS tapes or presentations that were filmed in real life with real actors and then inserted into the game. This makes the world feel a lot more believable and realistic. You can almost imagine that such a department exists somewhere out there and covers up all the weird and unexplained things happening across the world. The mystery here is what's really driving the game and one of the main reasons you should play it. Control takes place inside the oldest house, a strange building that is somehow connected to parallel dimensions and universes, as well as being bigger on the inside, ever shifting and changing. This means that it basically offers infinite possibilities of exploration and that its true size can never be known. As you play, you will encounter various secrets and strange occurrences, things that are even strange and unexpected for a game such as Control. One moment you're inspecting a potential paranormal item or room, the next you've been transported into an alternate dimension where you have to fight a one-eyed creature. And that's just one example out of many. Some of my favorite moments were the times where you have to pass through a different dimension that looks like a motel. You don't know where it actually is. Based on the different lore pieces that can be found, it's possible that the motel exists on some kind of separate plane of existence. Fittingly, it's also filled with all kinds of weird moments that are hard or impossible to explain. And that's a good thing. Something being unexplainable makes mystery often more interesting and leaves you more room for interpretations. In a way, the level design is somewhat inspired by Dark Souls because it often feels like a labyrinth, forces you to backtrack a lot, and has many hidden rooms and boss encounters. Not to mention the fact that if you really want to understand and get most of the lore, you will have to read various case files scattered throughout the world or find VHS tapes and presentations. If you skip them, you'll barely understand what's going on and it won't be as interesting. The oldest house is full of strange things and your biggest driving force will be exploration. While it does feel like a labyrinth at times, it offers so many details and you really have to respect Remedy for the work they've put into this. The visuals of Control are amazing and exactly how they should be for a mystery game. They have a very neon 80s vibe and feel straight out of a vintage movie or a TV show. Most levels are either grey, lifeless, or full of neon and colors. There is really no in between. Scenes are filled with someone smoking while holding a monologue with a rough and boozy voice, just like in a neo-noir movie. It feels very atmospheric and the developers really did nail the atmosphere. Everything feels mysterious or otherworldly, and once you finally do reach locations that are in other dimensions, you don't even question the realism or logic of what you're seeing. It's fantastical, beautiful, amazing, and unique. The different dimensional planes of existence or other strange locations will sometimes be explained, other times you either have to fill in the blanks yourself, especially when reading files that have been redacted, or there won't be any explanation at all, leaving it to your imagination. I believe that's one of the strengths of Control. It can show you places that raise your curiosity, making you want to explore more. By being so vague and cryptic most of the time, you never fully know what's going on, and this adds to the mysterious atmosphere of The Oldest House. That's exactly why this type of storytelling and visual presentation fits perfectly here.